Okay, I see the room is filling up very quickly. I want to thank everyone who's here on time today. We're going to allow a couple more minutes, and then we're going to actually call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with the presentations. So just bear with us for 2 to 3 more minutes, and we'll get it started right away. Thank you.
Is there a way to send a chat to the group?
No, the chat is not available this evening.
Okay. I was told that I could like make you guys aware of a food distribution event I'm having, but was I supposed to do something ahead of time?
There's going to be a public comment session, and the chair is going to take a list of those attendees who wish to give brief remarks.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I see the time is now 7:08, and we have about 47 and climbing participants online. So we're going to call the meeting to order shortly. If I can ask, is the board secretary, Ms. Carballo, are you online?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, are you ready to take the minutes?
Yep.
Very well. Okay, the time is now 7:08. I am calling this meeting to order. I want to welcome everyone on behalf of CB9. My name is Fred Baptiste. I'm the chair of CB9. We have a packed agenda this evening. We're going to try and do our best to make sure that we're expeditious and that the board is able to handle this business, as well as hear from our community members as well. With regards to the rules of order, we're going to waive the reading of the rules of order for this evening. Just suffice it to say that this is a place where we want to be able to come together as a community, to speak, to converse, to trade ideas, exchange ideas, give our viewpoints, and see what's going on with ourselves and our neighbors. So we just ask that everyone is respectful as we do this as well. To that point, we would ask, just as common courtesy, please make sure your mics remain muted unless you've been recognized by the chair in order to speak. If you have questions, please use the raise hands function. If for some reason we don't see you, wave, and we'll make sure that the staff is also looking out on cameras just to make sure we can identify those people who have questions as well. Okay, so moving on to our agenda, we are going to go to presentations. With us this evening, the first presenter I'd like to call up is Ms. Tamara Jackson, who's a representative for Elite Learners. Ms. Jackson, are you online?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
The floor is yours.
And thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Tamara Jackson. I am the founder and executive director of Elite Learners, Inc., your newest community, community organization. And I will be presenting tonight about our anti-violence initiative that was brought to the community with the help of our elected officials, who we cannot thank enough for advocating for this program to come. I just would like to introduce Concessa Joseph. She's also on the call, and she is our community liaison. So you will see more of her and more of me to come. Tessa, can you start the presentation? Let me just say.
Good evening, everyone. May I have permission to share my screen, please?
Okay, so first, this is our anti-violence logo. This is the logo that you will see on the uniforms of the staff of the organization. This is our central focus in the community. So here's our anti-violence initiative logo, and again, Kamara Jackson. You can change it next slide. So Elite Learners is a 501c3 community development organization. Our motto is each one, teach one to reach one. And it's really about empowering community, providing a variety of wraparound services and programs, and aiding in public safety. So again, we have our anti-violence-based programs. That's our Occupy the Corners. So sometimes you'll see our anti-violence staff on the corners just providing resources and services. We have our mentorship programs that are community-based entrepreneurship, business to beauty, barbering, job employment services, et cetera. And then there's our school-based conflict mediation programs. We will be inside 2 schools, MS 92 and MS 61, both within the district, providing conflict mediation and also safe passage services. Safe passage services make sure that our students are safe traveling to and from school. We also have our hospital responder program, which will cater to both Brookdale and Kings County Hospital in partnership with CAVI. But the hospital responder program is as simple as us really doing as much as what CAVI does, but we respond to violent traumas, any type of conflict that happens within the hospital. Our hospital responders are there to mediate that conflict. And then we offer reentry programs. Our reentry programs are to make sure that individuals that are were previously incarcerated or that are incarcerated and will be coming back into society, that they have the support systems that they need to be successful. So the 71st Precinct Cure Violence Expansion Program, that is our focus here today. As I stated in the beginning, it was instrumental that, Elite was here to just aid in public safety. Our goal is to work closely with the community board and all community members to have a hand in aiding in public safety. The program is funded by the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. And we would not have the program without the Assemblywoman, Diana Richardson, our Senator, Zelenor Myrie, and Yvette Clark, our Congresswoman. So I can't thank them enough for the work that they put in to the commitment of eliminating violence from the communities. So here it is, a map. This map is very important because all of the red specks on the map you'll see a number. I mean, you really can't tell here, but there's a number there, and I can share the actual map with the community board, but it shows you where all of the shootings took place in the district. And this is, again, in the confines of the 71st Precinct. Now, it's not actually just a shooting where a gun was fired. This is actually where someone was injured. It definitely hit someone, or there was a fatality. So a lot of red in the area, and our main focus will be to have these numbers decline as we start to do the work within the community. So what is Cure Violence? You guys will hear the mayor say randomly, like I'm expanding Cure Violence, or I'm, working with the Cure Violence organizations. Cure Violence is a program in which an organization focuses on methods to public safety. We interrupt conflicts, identify norms, identify high risk individuals, and really try to change the social norms. We focus on public safety, which is one component. Our second component is youth enrichment services, and our third is the healing component. Specifically to our program that we are bringing to the 71st precinct, our healing component will look like a form of events. It's a lot of outreach. It's a lot of really working with families and just providing safe events in the community to bring back that community feel and really provide free opportunities to reach our young people and their families. Our youth enrichment services are all of the mentorship programs. And of course, the public safety is the violence interruption work that will happen on the ground. Our goals. So of course, anytime you're, opening up a new location, you want to identify your goals. You want to make sure that we're always providing outstanding resources. That's like one of my main goals with Elite Learners. We really impact the communities in which we serve. So our goal is to decrease gun violence. We've already seen some results in doing this, but this is definitely our goal. Provide safe passages from schools. So I mentioned that with the conflict mediation and the school-based programs. Increase youth enrichment programs. We want to be able to provide after-school programs, specifically, programs that focus on STEM and academic intervention. We really want to be that community center for young people. Community healing, again, that's offering the events, that's also introducing mental health services and making sure that we have enough support systems. Create unity and safe neighborhood. What we envision is that we'll be working closely together. All of the different, I don't know how you guys say it, like the education committee, the housing, we will be a part of all of the different committees and just ensuring that we can provide as much assistance as we can to the community. So our upcoming events are our pop-up food pantries. We have a series of basketball tournaments that are going to be taking place. The next main, big community event is our family affair on H Block. This is actually the grand opening to our office. The office is located at 581 Rogers Avenue. So on June 4th from 12 to 5, we will be having our grand opening. We are inviting all community members to come out and celebrate with us. We are also, though, providing services, which will be an on-the-spot job fair. We will have a carnival games for young people and just really an opportunity for us to get to know each other as a community. This is the basketball flyer, and all of these flyers will be shared via email. We just wanted to make sure that you had a visual of the logo and you got to hear who we are and what we do. So we have many success stories. This is just one of a young lady that now works with us. And this goes to show you really how impactful the organization is and why our programs are so important. Miracle started as a Brownsville Academy student, which is a transfer high school school, and she was really struggling, wasn't prepared to go to college, and we've been able to bring her aboard. She's grown tremendously, and she will be at the new location at 581 Rogers. We also have many job openings. The purpose of us coming to the community is to serve, but also provide job opportunities for individuals that live within the district. I think it's really important for us to be able to support our own and really know and meet the needs of community members. So here are some of our available positions: outreach workers, violence interrupters, office assistant, and more. The rest are on our website. My contact information is laid out. Please, anyone, feel free to reach out, email, call, text. I'm really about community and just I'm always here to grow and provide services and, you know, just mesh and improve. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Also, consensus information is here. She is mainly to serve as the community liaison and really be in touch with what's happening. So you will see her often on the meetings. Thank you for this opportunity. We are definitely here to support you, and I am open for any questions anyone may have.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Jackson. We are pressed for time. We will entertain 2 quick questions. Are there any questions for Ms. Jackson with regards to elite learners?
I'm sorry, it's Amy. Any questions regarding what?
Elite Learners, her organization.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I thought it was a great presentation. It sounds super what you're doing. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, you know, in this neighborhood, I saw the map. I couldn't tell any of the border streets that were on the map. Is it exactly Crown Heights, Community Board 9 that you showed?
Yes, it
Okay.
was only Community Board 9.
Wow. There's a lot of young people, probably under 20, that have guns in the neighborhood. And it always seems like in the summer, house parties and such always bring tragedy. I was wondering, does the 71st Precinct have buyback program that's successful, or are those measures that, you know, they used to have, are they hitting the right note with the people you're trying to help?
So I'm not sure what buyback programs have happened in the past, but I will definitely create buyback. Like, I don't mind doing gun buybacks. That's a partnership that is between the precinct, the Brooklyn DA's office, and the organization. And we will definitely put that into action sooner than later. We've had experience with buybacks in other communities, and it's very beneficial. You have a good turnout. So it's really important to do it often. So I will definitely implement that.
Thank you. And I see Janella Rome Perry. We'll take her question and then we'll have to move on. Ms. Perry, Ms. Rome Perry?
Yes, thank you so much. Very interesting program. I live in the 71st precinct district, as well as bordering the 67. So we put together a program that will encompass the entire district. What happened is that I see your office is on the other side. We're closer to Utica Avenue and Schenectady over that side. Would you be able to reach out to address some of the issues that we're having at this end of the district?
No problem. The location, the location I'm at now, which is my East Flatbush location, is 4517 Avenue D. So all the material will have all 3 locations on it, and we'll definitely reach out to you and do some work. We work within the 6-7 as well. So I don't mind. Yeah, I was just highlighting the location that's closest to the 71st precinct, but we have multiple sites. So I'll definitely be in touch with you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, Ms. Jackson, I want to thank you so much for coming and telling us about your organization. Whew, a lot of work needs to be done. And thank you so much for taking on that. That's God's work. That's God's work.
Yeah, thank you so
much. If there's anything we can do to support you for CD9, please let us know. And you are more than welcome to return here and provide updates, or if there's any support we can provide, please just reach out and let us know.
Thank you so much. Will do. Will do.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, we have another presentation this evening. We have with us a familiar face, Ms. Lorraine Brown with One Health Brooklyn. Ms. Brown, are you here?
I'm here. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you, and the floor is yours, ma'am.
All right. Well, I believe last month I talked about the plans to close the Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center's medical, surgical, and intensive care units, and promised to come back to take any additional questions and just to provide an update. You may recall that as part of our, should I hold on or?
I'm sorry, Ms. Brown. May I remind all members of the community, please make sure your mics are muted unless you have been recognized to speak, okay? Thank you very much. Ms. Brown, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Please continue.
That's okay, thank you. So you may recall that as part of the Kingsbrook Medical Center transformation, the campus is to evolve as a post-acute and medical village campus, and for us to regionalize our acute medical services within One Brooklyn at Brookdale Medical Center and Interfaith. We were to have implemented the medical surgical bed transformation in June or July of 2020. And then we took a pause because of the first COVID surge. And we were then to have implemented that plan as of January of 2021. At that time, we also paused because of COVID. I am pleased to say that the second surge, although there was a great deal of uncertainty as to what the impact would be in terms of the second wave of COVID, fortunately, across the city and across the state, the experience was not the same as in the year 2020. And in fact, just to give you an example of that, back in April of 2020, Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center had 155 patients in beds with COVID-19. As of today, we have a total of four patients with COVID-19, and blessedly, that is good news. And so what we experienced, notwithstanding our pause, we experienced between January and currently a much smaller number of patients coming to the hospital with COVID-19, which gives us an opportunity now to activate the plan that as of July 1st, we would no longer be providing acute services. I think another important point of information is that we continue to invest in the Kingsbrook campus. Notably, we will be spending more than $34 million in the creation of the medical village, which is basically a compilation of ambulatory care services on that campus. And in fact, those ambulatory care centers of excellence will be in the building that we will be making available with the closure of the medical surgical beds. So that will be $34 million of investment. Most immediately, we have invested $6 million in the Pierre Toussaint Family Health Center on Eastern Parkway, and are really happy to say that we will be opening that center up for services on June 21st. Some of you, in fact, attended a soft opening we had to show the beautiful work that had been done. I'm seeing my friend Dante shake his head because it was so impressive in terms of if one were to look at the before and the after. And so we're very excited about that new center opening. And we are also investing in ambulatory care centers throughout Central Brooklyn, not only those that are run by One Brooklyn, but run by our federally qualified health centers. And actually last week, I was at an opening of the Betty Shabazz Health Center in East New York. So my only point is that even as we look to regionalizing our inpatient services, closing the beds at Kingsbrook, we are absolutely committed to and investing in health services. in central Brooklyn. I also would be remiss if I didn't say that we continue to offer COVID vaccinations to the public. As of this Monday, the Kingsbrook staff have provided more than 31,000 vaccinations, and more than 28,000 of those to community members. And we have a walk-in service, no appointments are necessary, 7 days a week. And we want to make sure that the community board and your constituents are aware that those services do exist. Let me also say that we are investing significantly in Rutland. We have been designated by the state to be one of 2 demonstration sites for the expansion of services to children with special needs who need long-term care, and for young adults, that is children who move into the 18 to 21 age group and traditionally have to, who need continued long-term care, move into an adult unit or adult services. And oftentimes they don't really do well in those kind of settings. And so we will be actually creating 80-bed capacity for young adults with particular special needs, such as neurodegenerative conditions, traumatic brain injury, other types of conditions that unfortunately don't allow for the individual to remain at home. And in many instances, because there aren't many facilities that serve children and young adults with certain conditions, they have to go out of state and out of city. And so our aim is to be able to repatriate children and young adults back to Brooklyn, back to New York City, so they can be closer to home. So even as we are transforming our Kingsbrook campus, we are adding to the complement of services that we are going to be providing in central Brooklyn. I know the time is limited, so I'm going to pause there because I want to take any questions that folks may have. I should say, and I hope I did say, that the July 1st is our new timetable. And let me also end with this. Over the last 3 years, in as much as this has been, this transformation plan has been what has been part of our strategic direction, we've worked very closely with our union partners, 1199, NISNA, CIR, which is the Council of Intern and Residents. And for every single staff person affected by the transition of these beds, there has been and will be positions for them, either at Brookdale, Interfaith, or in services that will continue to be provided on the Kingsbrook campus. And when I say we work very closely, we literally have worked with our union leadership in identifying those positions, matching like positions in the other One Brooklyn locations for individuals impacted at Kingsbrook. And in many cases, if additional training was needed, provided that training. We in fact have some people who want to change their careers, have provided that support because we want the staff to be successful as they make their transition to other positions within One Brooklyn. And I will close there.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Thank you, Ms. Brown. All right, we will take a couple of questions. Ms. Rowan Perry, I see your hand is still up. Do you have a question for Ms. Brown?
Yes, I do. Good evening, Ms. Brown. Thank you for that presentation. My development borders yours. We're in the building across on Rutland.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you, initially there was a PACE program that was good. Is that still going to happen over there?
Well, we may very well have a PACE program. We're really exploring, because as you know, the PACE program is a program that is related to long-term care, right? It allows folks to remain home as an alternative to having to be admitted for as long as possible into a nursing home. So there's still explorations about the PACE program, and we've had meetings with potential partners to run that. program. So it's still a possibility, Ms. Roan Perry.
Yeah, it's just trying because, we have a lot of seniors.
Yes, yes, and which is why we're committed to maintaining our long-term care services on that campus. And even though we're expanding to serve our young adult population, that doesn't mean that we're moving away from our older population in terms of post-acute care.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ms. Roan Perry.
All right. Do we have any other questions for Ms. Brown? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Brown, I want to thank you. Again, you're not a stranger here. We've seen you before, and I want to thank you for all the words you bring, the news and the updates, and especially all the work you've done with our Health and Social Services Committee, along with our chair, Ms. Francisca Leopold. And absolutely, we look forward to the next time we see you as well with more developments on that.
I'll keep coming. I'll keep coming, and thank you so very much for having me there tonight. Good to see you all. Bye-bye.
Okay, we're now going to move on in the agenda to the liquor licenses. Do we have the chair of public safety? Rabbi Berman, are you on the line?
I am here.
Okay, you have the floor. I believe there are two licenses, two applicants.
Yes, there are two renewal applications. Amir, are they present?
I see one applicant here.
Well, first of all, we voted unanimously to support their application, and if they're here, we should let them speak.
Okay, Mia, who's the applicant you see so far? I think I see Ben.
I'm pretty sure it's Ben, right? I think it is from Eddie Joe.
Yes, yeah, from Eddie Joe's.
Okay.
He's coming. I see yeah. I think he's trying to get to a quiet place.
Okay, can you unmute Ben? Or is there somebody else who's going to speak?
Hi, can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
That's better. I'm going to go to a slightly more quiet place as we're open, and I'm working right now, so I'm just going to sneak off to the side. Sorry about that. Better?
That's
okay.
fine.
Sorry.
Okay, welcome to CB9. If you would, just tell us a little bit about your establishment.
Sure. Establishment's called Edie Joe's. We opened in July of 2019. We are a full service restaurant. We do, we were doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now we're doing brunch, lunch, and dinner. We just were a little bit slow in the morning, so we just decided we open at 11 o'clock now, 6 days a week. And we serve dinner 5 nights a week. We're closed Sunday night and Monday night. We have a full liquor license. We've been here, like I said, since 2019, since July. Haven't had any issues or problems with complaints or the police or any of those things that no owner of an establishment wants. And it's been great. It's been a real nice place for me to run into work, but also just to see like the different kinds of crowds we get. And it's just like, kids, older folks, different walks of life. It's pretty amazing. It's kind of what I imagined. So I'm just really happy to be here, and we're just looking to renew our license. And I don't know, what else would you like to know? Any questions about the place?
Let's find out. Let's go to the crowd.
Okay.
At this time, we'll entertain a couple of questions. We do have a tight agenda, so we'll entertain a couple of questions for the applicant.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
I don't know your location. Sorry.
No, not a problem. Okay. If we can, let's use the raise hand function. So, Amy, I will recognize
I don't
you.
have
Is
a
there
raise
anybody
hand
else?
function, so I'm doing this.
Okay. Are there any other hands waving? Dante, Mia, can you see anybody else? Okay. Go ahead, Amy. Go ahead with your question.
I just wanted to know where your cross streets are. I don't know your exact location. That's all. Thank you.
Sure, we're at 630 Flatbush. We're right where Fenimore meets Flatbush.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And the other thing, just full disclosure, we put up the notice saying that we're reapplying for a renewal. That was technically 5 days late because of 4 days late because of a weekend. So I don't know if this is a place to bring it up or I need to bring it up in the office tomorrow, but we just need like a waiver for that like 5-day discrepancy just for the SLA, if that's okay, if everybody votes yes on it.
I think that's something we can discuss as a board. So I think if,
Okay.
if
I
your
think it's more of a
application is
board thing
approved, that
too.
I
I
think we
just
can
wanted to make
consider,
sure.
we
Okay.
can consider that as well.
Okay. Do we have any
Are
other
there any other questions?
questions?
Okay, seeing none. All right, sir, just thank you very much. You're
Sure.
more than welcome to stay. We'll discuss your application during the voting session. At that point, we'll make a determination.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for listening.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. I'm going to be working, but I'll be right back.
Not a problem. Rabbi Berman, is there anyone else? Is the other applicant here?
I am not a psychic. I don't see them in front of me, but it's possible they are here. So
Another representative for La Estrella. Is anyone here?
Yes, I'm here.
well, I guess they are here.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. Are you still there? I think it's a bad connection.
Hi, how are you? Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Yes.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I'm here. How are you?
Good.
Sorry, I'm in
We're
the
good.
car. So, yeah, my name is Rosemary Nunes. Yes, I'm representing La Estrella del Castillo Restaurant. La Estrella no están abiertos.
Okay. If you will, just tell us a little bit about the restaurant.
Okay, perfect. The restaurant, I started like 18 or 17 years ago. So my business is more in the food, family restaurant. So I dedicated to serving like Spanish food and American food. So we open it up in the morning and finish around 10:30 every day. But right now, the schedule is like that, and the weekend sometimes 11. But now it's still 10:30 every night because pandemic is not the same thing. Something else? Are you hearing me?
Ed, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I was muted. I'm sorry about that. No, thank you very much for that. We'll see if there's any questions, if anybody has any questions. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Oh, no any question. I don't know if somebody has a question for me.
Oh yeah, we're checking to see if anybody else here has a question for you. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Are there any questions? I'm not seeing any. Okay, so listen, but thank you very much for your time. If you would like to stay, you can wait, stay till for the meeting. We'll vote on your application during the voting session, and we'll let you know what the determination is of the board. Okay, you're more than welcome to stay if you would like.
I'm staying in the meeting, but out the camera. I'm listening everything, okay?
That's fine, not a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, all right. All right, so those are the two applicants. We're going to consider those applications during the business session of the meeting. At this point, we're going to go to our public commentary section. Public commentary section is exactly 30 minutes. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes to present their topics before the board. To the district office team, is there anyone who's pre-registered for public commentary?
No.
Okay. Ms. Carreri, I know you said that you had wanted to speak, so you can have 3 minutes. Let me just get the line, and then we'll start shortly, okay? So Ms. Carreri, I have you first. Who else would like to speak? Ms. Pinkerton, I see you.
Christian. Is it Christian down there?
Is it Lubo?
Andrea?
Mr. Lubo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrea has her hand up. Elizabeth has her hand up.
Andrea, Hold on. Elizabeth?
Yep.
Esteban,
Hold on. Esteban? Okay, let me give you the list. Tell me, I have Ms. Query, I have Ms. Pinkerton, I have Mr. LeBeau, I have Andrea, I have Elizabeth, I have Esteban. Was there someone else?
that's about it.
Okay, all right, so we'll begin with that. Mia, would you be prepared to keep time?
Sure.
Okay. I'll remind all the speakers you have 3 minutes. Ms. Query, you're the first. Go ahead, you may begin.
Hi, everybody. Hi, it's wonderful to see everybody tonight. I just wanted to let people know about a event that I'm having for the community within the Community 9 district. I have an organization called Soul to Souls, which is focused on youth development, leadership development, social emotional development, college and career development, as well as creating movies and films that relate to the expression of the young people's voices, their experience, and the things that they want to show the world. But in addition to that, we want to do things that support our communities and build our communities up. So on Saturday, Juneteenth or June 19th, we are having a food distribution drive and giving away groceries to the community from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. at the corner of Franklin Avenue and Eastern Parkway in front of Wise Deli. Is it okay for me to share my flyer, or I don't know, how people would want to, if you want to come out and volunteer or just see what we're doing that day, everybody is more than welcome.
Sure, if you share your information with the community board office, we can make sure that anybody who's interested can actually contact us, and we'll share that out for you as well.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time.
Absolutely. Okay, next, I see Ms. Pinkerton. All right, Mia, are you ready? Okay, Ms. Pinkerton, go ahead. You have your 3 minutes.
All right, I just have 2 things to mention. I hope my volume is okay. One concerns the agenda for our board meetings. Kind of noticed that all the agendas are boilerplates. The only new information is an occasional SLA license, that we're going to vote on. But the agenda in the back, new business, old business, community, there are no details. So I don't know how the community knows what's going to be discussed. So we know some of the items at the end of the meeting that we want to carry over, and it just makes sense that they should be included in the agenda so everybody's aware of what the discussion points are. And then secondly, I guess everybody on the board is aware that Alicia Boyd had sent around an affidavit from the, I guess, a rep from the 960 Franklin Development Project, showing that this person, Walter, I'm blanking on his last name, had discussions he said, ongoing and numerous discussions with Fred Baptiste. I'm sorry? With Fred Baptiste and our Euler chairperson, Pat Moses. So I think this ought to be an item of discussion at the board, and it's not on the agenda. So I don't know if this is covered by new business or old business, but I think it's something that should be addressed. And that's my comments. Thank you.
The gentleman's name is William Wallace.
Could you please remain muted until recognized by the chair, please? Thanks.
Mr. LeBeau?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I've popped into a couple of meetings over the last few months, but this is really just to introduce myself to the board and to the general public. I just moved to Lefferts Gardens from Alphabet City. Long-suffering New York Knicks fan. That's not going to change, even though I'm right off of Flatbush, down the block from Barclays. But I just want to say I'm looking forward to supporting some of the initiatives that are going on, learning more about our community, and really give a round of applause to Ms. Jackson for what she's doing there and that presentation earlier today. That was really, really great work that you're doing, and I'll definitely be there on next Friday to learn more. So thank you for that. And one question for the group is, do we have an idea, or when do we anticipate doing these meetings in person, if at all? Thank you.
The very quick answer to that is we don't know yet. The executive order for the governor is still going through. Actually, I think it's still going, so we're not sure when that's going to expire. But it'll definitely be a notice to the community when we're actually resuming person. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Appreciate your comments. Next, I have Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Andrea. Andrea. How you doing, Andrea? You have, welcome. You have 3 minutes. Your time will start whenever you begin. Oh, your volume is low. We can't hear you. Better.
Okay. I've been in contact with Miss Alicia Boyd also, and I was at the rally on Earth Day in front of Botanical Gardens, and there is a lot of clamor about the height of the buildings at 960 Franklin Avenue. So I know these community board meetings have been held over Zoom, but some people have been concerned that they weren't able to be informed in a more widespread way. So if there was an option to have a vote or meetings about that particular topic outside instead of at the First Baptist Church, because I know not a lot of people would like to go into a place that's not secular to talk about politics. And if that was an issue for anyone else, I completely understand. So if we could pick a better designated place for the discussion about the building on 960 Franklin Avenue. I mean, the height is definitely an issue, and my best memory of volunteering on Earth Day was going out and seeing the flowers and having everyone, you know, get on the same page about how important this is and why the city had rezoned this area for the type of land development that it was zoned for. So I just think that should be taken into account. And if we could talk about that issue further in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments, Ms. Andrea. Ms. Andrea. Okay, next we have on the speakers list, Elizabeth.
Hi. I'd like to first start off by saying I agree with Andrea in terms of, I have concerns too about the 960 project, in terms of the height of it, in terms of discussions around it and access, in terms of all people of the community being able to be involved in that process. Additionally, in terms of access, I'm concerned about the lack of chat access. For example, Clary, you had a pamphlet you'd like to share. You could have dropped that in the chat to share with everyone immediately, democratically. Considering community boards are the most democratic aspect of our Brooklyn life here, I think keeping it as accessible to people and making it available for people to have access and to be able to write if they can't speak, they have mic issues, whatever concerns, that would be something that a democratic body would want to support. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Next speaker we have is Esteban.
Hi. Am I on? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
All right. Okay, yeah, so I have, I generally only attend the ULURP meetings, but I am a member of the ULURP committee. And I'm also concerned about this affidavit, which comes from the only person that we've really interacted with at all from Continuum for the 960 Franklin project. It definitely needs to be addressed. You know, when we met as a committee a couple of weeks ago, we were very clear about what we wanted. You know, that we wanted an outdoor hybrid meeting, that we wanted it in a neutral location, that we wanted outreach and facilitation to be controlled by the community board and not by the developer, possibly a partner nonprofit that could project an air of fairness and not bias. I see that there seems to be an agreement to do this at the Brooklyn Children's Museum, which is odd because that's like a half an hour walk for people who live right around 960 Franklin, primarily senior citizens who are the people who are supposed to be, you know, doing this for. That seems like a really strange and far away place outside of the, you know, outside of the community board to do that. And yeah, I just, you know, I think I'd really like some clarity on what, you know, what has transpired since the ULURP meeting, and I don't know how many folks from the ULURP committee are here, but I think they would agree that what's written in that affidavit is not what we agreed to and what we wanted. And I just want to remind the community board that you know, there's the developer has not approached this process in any sort of like a you know, a fair way. We've been chasing after them for materials. We've been chasing after them to find out their plans. They've made promises to tell us things, to answer our questions. We've been chasing after them for 6 months. I don't think that there's a rush now at this point. I think that we should not move forward with this until they give us what we want them to give us, because they're coming to us, not the other way around. We have the power in the situation. So that's all I got for today. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Esteban. All right, are there any other speakers for public commentary? I see Ms. Joseph from Elite Learners. Hold on one second. This is the rest of the list. Is there anyone else? Dante, Mia, do you see anyone else? Okay, Ms. Joseph, go ahead. You have
Hi, everyone. I would just like to extend an invitation to any small businesses on here who wants to be part of our grand opening and be part of the job fair. You could reach out to me. My email is cjoseph@elitelearners.org, cjoseph@elitelearners.org, or my number is 718-500-2267, 718-500-2267. Our grand opening will be next week, Friday, June 4th, between 12 and 5. It will be on Hawthorne Street between Rogers Avenue and Nostrand Avenue. If you would like to table, if you would like to showcase your business, your organization, please reach out to me so I could have you be part of the celebration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Joseph. All right, I think that is all we have for public commentary. I want to thank all the members of the public who've spoken. The community board will definitely be taking your comments and statements into consideration as we continue on with our agenda and our business as well. All right, we are now going to move on to acknowledgements. Mia? Let me see.
We have Mr. Slavin here for Congresswoman Clark. We have Mr. Honeywell here for A.M. Richardson. We have Ricardo here for the BP. And I believe we have Karen here from the DA's office. And I believe Portia is here from the Senator's office, Senator Myri's office. If I missed anyone, please identify yourself.
Okay, we are going to go in the order that Mia just identified. Mr. Slavin from Congresswoman Yvette Clark's office.
Yes, good evening, everybody. And as usual, I usually give our address, 222 Lenox Road between Rogers and Nostrand. Our number is 718-287-1142. And please take your time, go onto our website, which is clark.house.gov. We have a lot of information there, and also you can put comments in. I just want to thank, before I go on, I just want to bring to your attention that a very important member of our community and our staff had passed on. Her funeral was yesterday services. Mary Bishop, she was Director of Constituent Services. She was a dedicated worker. She spent close to 20 years of her life for public service. And I just want to recognize she was a friend and she was a colleague, and we will dearly miss her. I want to thank Ms. Jackson for that riveting report of what's going on. That's so important for all of us. It's a step in the right direction, a positive step, and I'm very glad that our office, the Congresswoman, had put in a lot of work into this and was much part of this initiative. I will not hold you much longer. I just want to mention the two major programs that are now being discussed in the House: the American Family Plan, which includes higher education, universal preschool, child nutrition, healthcare, tax cuts, which is for children who are under 6, it's $3,000 a year, and for children above 6, it's $3,600 a year. Again, a lot of this information is in our website. Also, the American Jobs Plan, which includes structure, highways, but most important, also clean water. So please do take your time, go onto our website. There's a host of information there. And I don't want to take up much of your time. There are other speakers. And again, thank you everybody for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saab. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Rich Honeywell with the Assembly Member Diana Richardson's office. Correct?
Good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody here once again tonight. Thank you for the leadership that's being provided by this board. I am Richard Honeywell, the Constituent Services Coordinator for Assemblywoman Diana Richardson. And as we're wrapping up the year, our session year, should anyone have any particular resolution concern or bill concern that you need to bring to our attention before things wind up next month by the end of the month, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call me at 718-771-3105. That's 718-771-3105. My email address is rhoneywell, just as it sounds, HONEYWELL .dist43 @gmail.com. I want to salute our partners in Elite Learners, Kamara Jackson and her team for the tremendous work they're doing in our community. Next month, June, we're declaring it Gun Violence Awareness Month. There's a lot of work that is coming out in our district around that. It would be so phenomenal if everybody who has a concern for the wellness and well-being in our community could get on board with us on that. For more information on some of the activities that are coming for that in the month of June, please reach me at the number that I gave you or the email address as well. And that's all I have to share for tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Honeywell. Okay, next we'd like to recognize Mr. Ricardo Newball from the Borough President's Office.
Good evening, CV9. I would like to first apologize. I am having some technical issues with my camera, but I would like to let everybody know that if you do have any questions or concerns about what is going on in the community, please give the Borough President's Office a call at 718-802-3700 or send us an email at askeric@brooklynbp.nyc.gov. And in order to stay up to date with any upcoming events that we may be having, you can check the website at brooklyn-usa.org. I hope everybody is staying safe, and I hope to see you guys in person soon. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. All right. Karen, are you here from the Brooklyn DA's office?
Yes, I am. Good night, everyone. I bring you greetings from the District Attorney's Office. If you have any issues or concerns, you can please give me a call. My phone number is 718-250-4877. Our office will be hosting our Asian American Heritage event on May 27th. It will be streaming on our website, so please look at it. You know, it's something to break the monotony of the pandemic. So look at it. It starts at 12 o'clock, and we are here for you if you have any issues or concerns. See you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. I have next on my list Ms. Portia Edwards.
Can you see? There we go. Hello, everyone. It's so great to be at the CB9 meeting today. Great to hear all of you guys' voices and see some of your faces. I just want to bring greetings from State Senator Zelna Myri's office as we are continuing to serve the community, making sure that the community's voices are heard. Just to give a congratulations to Kamara Jackson and the Elite Learners team. Fortunately, we are half of their office is in the other part of our district. This is the 20th Senate District, which is in Brownsville. So we have been working with Elite Learners for a long time now. And just knowing that the work they do, we're just very happy that they are also bringing their office over here into Crown Heights while we also serve East Flatbush. Elite Learners is all over District 20. So we're excited to have a partner in Kamara Jackson and the Elite Learners for the work that they do. Tomorrow, we're going to be having a VRA event talking about one of our newer bills that is up for vote within the next week or two. So please, if you guys are on our social media pages, all of the flyers and events will be on our socials. And we will also share those flyers and information with Mia and the rest of the team, so you guys can all join our events virtually. We look forward to meeting back in person. As the senator would say, get vaccinated and stay safe. If you guys need anything from our office, please feel free to give us a call. We are all still currently working from home. The office is only open to our workers right now. We're not allowed to have constituents in the office. However, we are still doing constituent work. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can give our office a call at 718-284-4700, or you can email the office at myrie@nysenate.gov. That's MYRIE@nysenate.gov. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Portia. At the end of my list, are there any other representatives or electeds who are on the line with us this evening? Okay. Seeing none, I want to thank all those representatives who are here this evening. Please make sure you give your officials our best regards and thanks for their partnership in terms of doing the work for this community. With that being concluded, we have reached the end. We're actually concluding our public session. We are now going to go into our business session. Madam Secretary, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I would ask if you please call the roll.
Okay, let's go ahead and start. Everybody be ready to unmute yourselves when I call your name. Nicholas Almanor.
Present.
Stuart Ballberg. Stuart Ballberg. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Because I don't like rapping.
Virginia Bechtold.
Present. You told me to my face that I made a mistake, and that's just far.
Rabbi Berman. Rabbi Yaakov Berman. Warren Burke.
Here.
Augustine Blackwell.
Present.
Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown. Alejandro Caraballo, present. Suki Chong. Suki Chong. Verlene Dozier.
That's Hazel. She must be working late.
Rosemary Evering.
Present. EFGH.
Tessa
If I could remind
Hakavira.
everyone, I'm sorry, if I could remind everyone to please keep your mics muted until you're called. I'm sorry.
Here.
Bishop Sylvetta Hamilton Gonzalez.
Here.
Shlomo Zalman Hecht.
Here.
Wayne King.
Present.
Primo Lasana.
Present.
Mayna Lagute.
Present.
Francisca Leopold.
Present.
Nolan Levinson.
Here.
Melanie Lewis.
Present. Hello.
Michael Liebert.
Here.
Matthias Limberger.
Here.
Menachem Margolin.
Here.
Carmen Martinez.
Here.
Vivia Morgan. Vivia Morgan. Pat Moses.
Here.
Beverly Newsom.
Here.
Yankee Pearson.
Present.
Riel Peerbooms.
Inside in Dance's office. Now, of course, they may say something like that because they're
Amy
trying to slow
Pinkerton.
things and
Here.
for Donald Trump.
Unella Rome Perry.
Here.
Dexter Roberts.
Present.
Mary Rollerson Blackett. Mary Rollerson Blackett. Desma Ross.
Present.
Melissa Sevier.
Present.
Rashida Sadiq.
Here.
Rabbi Shanina Sperlin. Rabbi Sperlin. Debbie Timothy.
Present.
Linda Watson Lord.
Present.
Evelyn Williams. Evelyn Williams. Lorianne Wolseley.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is that you, Miss Williams?
Yes, I said here.
Okay, thank you. Lorianne Wolseley.
Present.
Great.
Madam Secretary, could I ask if you could just call the names again of those who were absent who didn't respond?
Yes.
Thank you.
Stuart Ballberg. Rabbi Yaakov Berman. Aaron Brown. Suki Chung. Verlene Dozier. Vivian Morgan. Mary Rollerson Blackett. Rabbi Shanina Sperlin. $33 present.
Okay. With 33 members present, we have a quorum.
Eight absent.
33, 8.
I think I might have missed one. I think it might be 34. Apologies, I need to recount.
No problem. That sounds right. I believe our count should be 42.
Yeah, so it's 34 present, 8 absent.
Okay, thank you very much. So noted for the record, 34 present. We have a quorum. We are now going to go on to the approval of the minutes. The minutes have been sent out to the board. Are there any corrections to be made to the minutes? Melanie, did you have a revision? Oh, you can unmute yourself. No, there you go. Oh, you've muted yourself again. Hold on.
From what I saw, if I'm not mistaken, if I was looking at the April minutes, I saw it was highlighted in red, so maybe it was going to be taken off. But I did see for tonight's liquor licenses, as opposed to the ones that we reviewed the month before. So a correction for the liquor licenses.
Okay, duly noted. We'll make that change with the liquor licenses to make sure that the applicants are correct. Thank you for that. Are there any other corrections to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, the minutes will stand as corrected. With those corrections noted. Okay, thank you very much. We are now going to move on to committee reports. Are there any committee chairs who have anything to that wish to share with the board? Please, if you've already submitted your report, no need to state it again. The record is already there. Or if you would like to say something, please make sure your comments are brief, no more than 2 minutes. Are there any chairs who wish to make a report at this time?
Fred, I just wanted to, is it all right for me to give a brief Youth Services Committee report?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to flag something for everyone, which is that the Youth Services Committee is hoping to host an end of year event, our third event, which would be kind of a field day / back to school celebration for kids in the community. We are hoping to do this either in the last weekend of August or the first weekend of September. And in order to move forward with the event, we need to have a outdoor space that we can use for free with a permit. And so just kind of throwing out an appeal to the larger community board to help me identify a space in the community that we might be able to use for this. And then once we have that, we can really begin to drive forward with the rest of the aspects of the event. So I don't know if the Parks and Recreation Committee has a connection that they can make to the Prospect Park Alliance or, something along those lines. Or if there's a school that has a big yard somewhere in the community that we could use, that would be incredibly helpful. So just throwing that out there to the larger board. If you want my email address, you can always get it from CB9's email address. So reach out to Mia or whomever, and they'll be able to share it with you. But would love to hear from some folks and get your help on moving this forward. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would also offer, if you do have any ideas in terms of attendance, about how many people you're looking at coming, the board office might be able to help with respect to that as well. So if you have any preliminary plans, we can definitely have that conversation offline and start that ball rolling for you.
Great. Ballpark 50 people.
Oh, 50? Okay. All right, so that's helpful. So we might be able to see what we can do with that. All right. Well, as long as I have you, would you be willing to do? Are you prepared to do the nominations committee report at this time?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so should I just go ahead and share my screen? Is that possible?
Sure.
Do I have permission to do that? Sorry, 1 second. Okay. All right, here we go. Sharing screen. Great. Oh, interesting. I have this weird setup with my computer. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but you let me know what you can see. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, sorry. New computer. This is like my work computer. Bear with me for a moment, or maybe move on to somebody else while I figure out this, because I need to open system preferences and allow sharing. I'm talking you through what I'm doing so that I can actually get it done. This might just take a moment. I'm so sorry. This is the first time I'm sharing my screen. I'm gonna have to leave Zoom and come back in order to do this. So I'd say move forward without me, and I'll be right back.
Okay, okay, we can do that. Let's see. So next item we have on the agenda, Dante, are you prepared to give your district manager's report?
Mr. Chair, I have a hand raised.
Oh, yes, but
Good evening, sir. Do we have to vote on the minutes?
my understanding of Robert's rules is we don't need to do that.
Okay.
As long as the corrections are noted.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. What issues is he having?
Okay, oh, yes, so Dante, go ahead, the floor is yours, whenever you're ready for your report.
Okay, due to the interest in time, and because of presenting the same information at the executive board last week, I will keep it brief. As I mentioned last week, the community board, we're looking to add the general meetings and the committee meetings to the Link NYC kiosks. There are approximately 16 kiosks in CB9 that are located on high pedestrian streets, Nordstrom, Flatbush, and Franklin Avenues. We really think that this is just a quick, simple, easy way to engage the public, let them know that one, there's a community board, two, the community board is constantly having meetings. I realize that we're going into the summer, so this is a summer project. So once we get the dates for the meetings for next year, we will be reaching out to Link NYC to have those dates put on those kiosks for the public. Next, the district service cabinet is all set to meet June 1st. The participating agencies will be DSNY, the Department of Buildings, DEP, Transportation, Parks, NYPD, FDNY, and DOHMH. As we roll through the summer, if our office starts to see an uptick in certain issues that do not pertain to an agency that I just mentioned, I will be the first to reach out to that agency to request a representative to serve on the district service cabinet, so we can really focus on making sure that service requests that come through our office and any trends that are brought to our attention are addressed by the appropriate agency. Next, we've been doing a weekly mass distribution on Fridays from 12 to 2 at the train stations in the district. I can say that they have been extremely successful. Last week we were at Sterling and it went very well. The week before that, let's see, I think we were on Empire. I think we went through this past Friday in Sterling before. We did an event with Test and Trace. It's been very nice. We usually give out around 100 bags. People walk up to the table, you have a brief conversation. Once they get the bag, they get masks. They get COVID guidance, and they get information about the community board. So it's been very nice seeing people actually engage with the community board, with our staff. And Fran has been out there with us, taking the bags, asking for bags for the other people that they live with. So it's been working very well. Next, as stated last week, our Zoom expansion is active. Last general meeting, I had mentioned that it was purchased. Now it is fully active, so we have the 500 capacity. Right now, we are in the process of adding the minutes to the website and adding committee meetings and general board meetings to YouTube, so they're readily available to the public. Moving, especially the recordings of the meetings, is a lot of data. And so that takes a lot of time. We can't really put it all on our website, so that's why we're using YouTube. It will slow our website down. So we're just trying to think of another creative way to get this information out to the public. So we're in the process of that. And once we completely finish uploading that information, I will provide an update at that time. Due to the interest of time and not being redundant, the treasurer had mentioned that she's going to give a report. So I'm going to leave that to her. So we're not redundant, but there are two things that I do want to bring up that were important from last week. As I had mentioned to the executive committee and to the public last week, I have earmarked $20,000 of the community board's budget to purchase DSNY trash receptacles. These are not the wire baskets. These are baskets that are a lot nicer than the wire baskets, and they're meant to prevent rodents and rats from getting into the trash. So if you walk up, I think if you walk up Utica, and maybe some parts of Kingston, you will see larger green receptacles that have been sponsored by the New York City Council. We're looking to get similar receptacles, just different, that will say sponsored by Community Board 9. But we're looking to do that. I've had phenomenal conversations with DSNY. With that being said, nothing is set in stone. It won't be set in stone until they're purchased. So if you guys have any locations of interest, please reach out to the office, send me an email, and I don't have a problem reaching out to DSNY to see if this is a location that's feasible. I will say that the receptacles that we're purchasing are going to replace the wire baskets. Not every location is accepted. DSNY has certain criteria that they use to determine if a corner needs a basket. At least from my understanding, it needs to be in a high pedestrian area. And if there was a basket on that corner before, if it was being abused and they removed it, that could be another issue that could prevent a corner from getting a receptacle. But again, if you have any suggestions for any locations, please don't hesitate to reach out to the office. Another thing that I had mentioned last week is the possibility of having ACE, programs for the homeless, come through and provide supplemental services in the district. As you may or may not be aware, our fiscal year ends June 30th. So it's going to make those conversations a little more difficult because the way that the city of New York works and how you have to spend money is that you have to pay for it, and those services have to be rendered before the end of the fiscal year. So this might be something that we can do in June and kind of build off of it as we move into September to start preparing for our district needs statement. Not finished just yet. The last thing I do want to bring up is there were some questions, and I'm going to try to do my best to answer those that were brought up after my report last week. So I will do my best to answer those. But one of the questions was, do the leftover funds have to be spent by July 1st? No, the funds have to be spent by July 30th, and the services have to be rendered by July 30th. So what that means is, if we're purchasing anything, we would have need to have purchased it by June 30th, and then it needs to be in our possession by June 30th. The next question was community input on how the leftover funding can be spent. Listen, I am open to proposals. If you have any ideas about how you feel that the funds should be spent, please reach out to the office. Send me a written proposal. But I will, please keep in mind that the end of the fiscal year is quickly approaching. So if you do have a proposal, please submit it so I can take a look at it. And with that being said, it takes time to purchase things in the city of New York. There's more than one entity that handles the purchasing. So, we have to wait for OMB, we have to wait for the vendor. So if you have a proposal, please submit it as soon as possible. There was also another question requesting specific details and quotes into recent purchases. Some of these purchases are in a gray area, and we're either waiting for OMB to approve our budget modification, or we're waiting for information from the vendor. So our levels are constantly like this. I will say, regarding the purchases, I will give an end of the year reconciliation at the next executive board meeting. So at that time, you'll be able to see exactly what we spent the money on. Let's see, what's next? Next, a question was brought up regarding the district service cabinet and if the document would be available to the public. The district service cabinet is mainly focused on gaining updates on service request numbers that came in to our office and working toward a solution. It's really purely administrative, and it's interagency. It's not a public body. So, I mean, I don't foresee that documentation being public. With that being said, also the question was brought up that it needs to reflect the needs of the community. I think this is more appropriate for the district needs statement that we're going to be preparing for in September. So, you know, as we roll through the summer and as the community board continues to do its business, we're compiling all of this information, and we can put all of that information in our annual district needs statement. Let's see. Almost finished. Another question that was brought up was the locations of the trash receptacles. So if you weren't present last week, there's going to be, I have earmarked money for 20 trash receptacles in different locations. 20 locations is going to take a lot of time to explain because it's also very tedious about which corner it's on. So if you want the specific locations of these trash receptacles, I have no issue, no problem sending you the email that I sent, which is called the letter of intent to DSNY, and then you will have the information that you need in terms of where they're going to be located, which specific corner. Yes, ACE, as I had mentioned before, those conversations are fluid. I did send a follow-up email today, so I'm still waiting to hear back from them. You know, the end of the fiscal year puts us in a crunch. So, you know, if we're able to, you know, squeak it in June to kind of see, okay, this is how it works. It's a phenomenal program. This is something that we should advocate for. That's going to be on the table as well. But right now there's no specifics. I'm still working and waiting for information from ACE. Let's see, just last thing was, I want to make this very clear. A question had come up regarding the location for this in-person meeting. Someone had brought up First Baptist Church. I want to make it very clear, that is not a decision of mine. To me, to my knowledge, no decision has been rendered. I would advise anyone who has a question about that, direct it to the board, direct it to the chair.
Okay, thank you, Dante.
I'm ready for you, Fred. Sorry, take questions, but I'm ready for you when you're done with the questions.
Perfect. I will be quick with the questions. We'll take just a couple of questions because we do have to move on to the agenda and nominations. Are there any questions for the district manager? Okay, one second. Amy, I see your hand. Is there anyone else? Dante, Mia, do you see anyone?
Debbie. Debbie had her hand. Yeah.
Okay. So Amy, I see you, and then Debbie. Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, a couple of things, Dante. First and foremost, a written proposal that you're requesting, there must be some sort of template that you could share. I mean, it works if everything is on the template, so it's not a lot of back and forth that something's forgotten. Procurement in New York City is a bug. It's definitely a hard thing. Have you gotten any guidance as well? Is it too late to submit? I mean, you have to really have these things purchased. The money has to be spent, like you said, by June 30th. So is it really feasible to hand in a written proposal for something to spend money on in the next literally 34 days? That's just a question you could address. This purchase of cans, I know these cans, they have a narrow top by design because supposedly it's prevent people from putting household garbage in there. Well, what happens is the garbage doesn't go in the can, it goes around the can, on top of the can. It's a mess. They have a can like this on, I think it's Crown Street over by Mega or by Franklin. And it's just, I think the money is better spent, it's just my opinion. I think the ACE program you're talking about are the like the business district people who have been funded by Yvette Clark and other, I think Zelmore Myrie, that they go up and down Nostrand, they clean, they keep the cans clean, they put the liners in. It's a phenomenal group. I think it supports people who have basically are kind of marginalized, and this helps them get established again in the working world. So I would think that the money is better spent that way than on cans that are just going to be unmanned and the garbage is going to be everywhere. And then secondly, I just hope in the future.
Amy, I'm sorry, I apologize, but we do need to speed up.
We're finding out about this money not being spent literally like 3 weeks before it needs to be spent. I'm hoping next year that this is not the case. We have more visibility into the budget and we know how to spend money, or we have an option to present a proposal for spending money. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Debbie? Oh, I'm sorry, did you want to respond, Dante?
Yeah. I'll address what I can. So thank you for that. I definitely agree that, going into next year, since I started in March, that kind of puts kind of a damper on what we're trying to do. But definitely rolling into next year, budget proposals going out to the committees will be a lot earlier. So then everyone has an opportunity, right? Like, this is a community thing. If people show up to the committee meetings, committees can do their business. I'm there, bring it to the board, and then if there's things that need to be purchased, there we go. So that makes the process more transparent. Just unfortunately, we're running out of time, and it's just kind of unfortunate where we're at. Two, in terms of purchasing the cans, yes. So I'm actually glad that you brought that up. I did submit the letter of intent on Friday afternoon, I think it was. I received an email back from DSNY that the locations that I submitted were approved. I was on the phone today with the vendor. So I'm working very diligently to get it purchased. I understand the concern, but I can assure you that every day I'm constantly following up and letting them know that this is a priority. Let's see, I'm sorry, what was your other question?
A template for a written proposal, just to make sure that all the information you need is captured in one shot. And it would be good if it was uniformed.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of the written proposal, I guess I'm gonna go this two ways here. The written proposal that I submitted to DSNY, they have a template, so I just followed it to the T. And so, if you want those written locations, just shoot an email to the office and I will send you the letter. It's everything that they asked for, it's right there. Same with the budget proposal letter. I will work with the staff over the summer to look at ways, okay, how can we make this as simple as possible for the committees to submit proposals moving forward. But yes, we will work on a template. Again, we were just crunched for time, so we had to come up with something. But yeah, definitely moving forward when the board's not doing business during the summer, we will analyze all of these things.
Okay, and Debbie, I believe you had a question?
Hi. It's pretty much pertaining to those garbage cans. I was inquiring about the design. I know Amy said that she knows what they look like, but I'm not sure what they look like. I know that I don't know whether sanitation was involved in making a decision on what would be best suited for the area, given the rats and all the other garbage that's floating around Nostrand Avenue and wherever else they're gonna be.
Right, so if you indulge me for a second, I'm gonna share my screen for like 10 seconds, just so you can see exactly which can it is.
Yeah, because I know in Manhattan, they're using some called the Big Belly.
Yeah, so the Big Belly has different criteria on how it needs to be used. This is the one that I'm talking about. So it has different criteria. So if you do the Big Belly ones that I think are like solar powered, they have to be serviced by someone that's not DSNY. So that makes it so much harder to even start this process. So for me, simply, this one's clean, it's concise. People will walk by it, they will see that the community board sponsored it. This is what we're looking at.
Okay.
What's the diameter of the hole, Dante?
The diameter of the hole? I do not have the diameter of the hole, but if you want the diameter, I can find the diameter for it.
No worries.
It's very small by design. Somebody talked from sanitation. They make it literally, I think it's probably 8 inches maybe, because they don't want big bags to be put in there.
I'll look it up.
So my other question is, what about the recycling aspect of that? Because that appears to be for paper. What about the cans and the bottles?
To my knowledge, this is just a trash receptacle. So if you decide that you want to recycle, so this is just like a regular waste basket. right? It really just depends on a person's behavior. If they want to throw a can in there plus all the recyclable things, then that's what it is. But my intentions is to keep trash off the street and to prevent rodents from getting into the baskets.
Okay,
Thank you.
Warren, I see your hand up, Warren, and we're going to conclude on you. Warren, did you have your hand up?
I think
Yes, I had to unmute myself. Not being an expert on trash cans, but I could tell you that east of Nordstrom Avenue in my neighborhood, there is a severe shortage of trash cans. So anything that we do to clean up the garbage, which proliferates throughout the neighborhood, I certainly support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go back in the agenda. Primo, I see you there.
Yes, sorry again for the technology issues, but they're all sorted out now. So I am going to share my screen, which y'all can see at this point, I believe. Great, got a thumbs up. So I want to start off by saying, Dante, welcome. They got you putting in work. Clearly needed a district manager. You got a lot going on. Thanks for your work and glad to have you here. I'm also really glad for the opportunity to serve on the nominations committee this year. So thanks to our chair and to our vice chair for suggesting that I take on this role. I want to give a huge accolades to the nomination committee of Nicholas Almanor, Tessa Hackett Vieira, Nolan Levinson, and Melissa Severe, who have all come together to put in a lot of work over the course of the last week and a half. For those who are not aware of the purpose of the nominations committee is here to basically run the election process for our executive committee members, of which there are 7. I'll walk you through what all of those positions are, and I'll walk you through our process throughout the course of this conversation, making sure that everyone has a great understanding and clarity of this process and its outcomes. And then we'll open up for questions at the end. But I'm going to begin to move through this. So here's a little bit on our timeline and our process. So in April, the committee was selected by the Community Board 9 chair. In May, which is kind of the heavy month in which things need to happen, nominations occur. The nominations committee has met twice in the last week. So on 5/17, which was our first meeting, and then on 5/20 to kind of put together a working process for how we are going to collaborate and move the work forward. Part of that meant obtaining a membership list of the board members from the Community Board 9 office to complete outreach to the entire CB9 membership. And so what that looked like, because everybody should have heard from us, was an email that went out asking for responses. I do want to take a moment to apologize for the short timeline and turnaround on the requested responses there, but in order to ensure an equitable process, we also wanted to make sure that we reached out to everybody via phone who we did not hear back from via email. And so we received 13 responses via email and then proceeded to call every other board member. So we placed, if my math is correct, about 28 phone calls. We split that amongst the nominations committee and executed on that over the course of the last 5 days, beginning on the 21st. And then what we are going to do and what we are doing, and what's happening right now, is we're presenting a report for the general board meeting. And then what we'll do afterwards is open up the floor for self-nominations of anybody who wanted to consider, didn't get back to us when we did outreach. And then in June, for our next meeting, what we're going to do is hold an election process. This will most likely be done digitally via SurveyMonkey. And we are going to take into consideration those who do not have access to technology and can't vote, don't want to vote via SurveyMonkey. So what we do typically in this process is we open up a breakout room so that folks can express their voting to us on the phone, and we'll think about other means of ways for board members to vote with us should neither of those be options for them. Write-ins will also be available on the ballots as they always are as a part of the process. So here are the 7 positions considered. I know there are 6 bullet points there, but it's because there are 2 members at large. So beginning first with our chairperson, Y'all are familiar with that role. The first vice chair, the second vice chair, our executive secretary, our treasurer, and 2 members at large. Just to say just a little bit more about kind of that process below, some rules that have been pulled directly from our bylaws. They should probably be in quotes, but just so you know, that is quoted text. Each officer shall be elected so basically everybody will serve for 1 year that begins on July 1st. And then that happens until a qualified successor is elected. In terms of the qualifications for board members, you have to serve at least 1 full year on the board, which should be the case for everybody who's in this meeting, as far as I know, and is in compliance with attendance rules. So we're going to run by the community board office to make sure that everybody who has been nominated is actually valid to serve on the ballot. And that'll happen over the course of the next several weeks. So here is the big news in terms of the nominations, the current nominations for positions. We have a returning nomination for Fred Baptiste and Warren Burke as the first chair and the chairperson. Then we have Francisca Leopold for second vice chair. For executive secretary, we have Alejandra Caraballo again. We have no current nominations for the position of treasurer. So we are certainly looking for folks who would be interested in taking on that role. And then in terms of our members at large, we have a pretty, a lot of people have applied for a few positions. So currently we have 6 folks who have expressed interest in the member at large position. That's Nicholas Almanor, Amy Pinkerton, Dexter Roberts, Mary Rollerson Blackett, Linda Watson Lord, and Evelyn Williams. So I want to thank everybody, first of all, who has put their names forward as being interested in running for these executive leadership positions, and want to urge folks to kind of join the running here and get your name on the ballot, especially for the position of treasurer, which is currently unfilled. So I've said enough. I'm going to pause here and see if Fred has anything that he wants to add, and also open it up for questions, which can be fielded by both myself and Fred.
Sure. First, let me just start by saying thank you so much to the committee for your excellent work. And, I just want to also say that, service on the executive committee is really, really a commitment. But it's fulfilling as well in terms of really doing service for the board and for our community. The one note I would probably say is it's not only for just self-nominations. If you want to throw somebody under the bus, this is the opportunity to do so as well, and you can nominate someone. But you will have the opportunity. So the nominations committee did the first piece of work with regards to the canvas, and this is the list they've come back with. But our bylaws call for an opportunity for all members to still be able to run from the floor. So this will be that opportunity that happens this evening. And with that, I turn it back to the chair of the nominations committee.
Thank you so much, Fred. Always really helpful to add that color to the experience. And so here, what I'd like to do is just pause and ask for folks if they have questions, and also open it up to see if anybody would like to nominate somebody or nominate themselves. So I am going to stop my share. I can always pull this back up if it's helpful, but just so that we can see the entire floor and see everybody's faces, hear everybody's voices. But I'm happy to pull this back up if folks need to see it as we go forward. Tessa, I see your hand raised, Tessa.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair Primo. You've done an excellent job, and so is my fellow committee members in the nominating committee. I'd like to nominate Wayne King for the position of treasurer.
Wonderful. Fred, do we need an acceptance?
Mr. King, hold on. This is Wayne King.
Yes.
I cannot do that. I will not accept that job. So we can move on.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Wayne.
This is Pat Mose. I got a question here.
Yes.
It's my understanding that when you're on the committee, you cannot run for office. And I think there's 2 people. Am I mistaken there?
That was
you can't be on the committee, my understanding, and run at the same time.
Perfect.
That is not correct. That's a conversation I've actually had with the law department, and they've confirmed if you are on the committee, you can actually run as well. The only thing is if there is if obviously if you're counting ballots, you can't count ballots for the position you're running for. You would have to recuse yourself in that instance, but you are not precluded from running for an office.
Thank you for that clarification. And yes, we will make sure that the ballot counting process is done only involving folks who are not nominated for a current position. So that would probably happen with myself in the CB9 office. But thank you for your question, Pat.
I think Christian has a question.
I apologize, but at this time, because we're in business session, it's only committee board members. I apologize, Richard. Let me go.
Any other nominations for treasurer? Dexter Roberts, hand up. Please feel free to go ahead, Dexter.
So, since you have no one running for treasurer, I think that I am very I think that I'm competent enough. I have administered over 3 different administration with mad money. So I would like to actually pull myself from committee and move to treasurer. Could that be happen? Could I do that?
I do not see why not, and I appreciate that gesture. And I would happily move your name from member at large to treasurer. Fred, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, that's in order.
Awesome.
So much.
Thank you, Dexter. Look at it, no more questions. Outstanding. Look at us moving through this agenda. Oh, Melanie Lewis, go ahead.
So since Dexter has moved along, I guess I will go ahead and take Dexter's place as a member at large.
I love it, Melanie. Excellent. Well, I'll make sure to add you to the list there for member at large.
I love it too. Thank you, Melanie Lewis.
Before you close out, is everybody gonna like say why they want the position and so on in the June meeting?
That's correct.
Right.
Yes, we're gonna hold the floor for folks to share just about 30 seconds to 1 minute about why they would like to run for the position. So we'll keep it brief, but we'll make sure that everyone has a chance to share. We can also do that via email before, so that folks have a chance to really read and absorb it. So we'll probably do a mix of both email and sharing live on the floor.
Thank you.
It's a great question. All right, hold in a moment here. Take a moment of pause, just 10 more seconds, just to see if anybody would like to ask one last question.
If I may, Primo, after that, call 3 times for nominations, and after that, close the nominations.
Okay, I don't know what it means to call 3 times, but I'll say it 3 times.
That's it. Call for a first
Okay.
time for nominations. I call for a second time.
Got
Call for a third time, and then we'll take a motion to close the nominations on the names.
Okay. Well, seeing no other questions, I call a first time for nominations on the floor. I call a second time for nominations on the floor. And I call the third time for nominations on the floor. Seeing no nominations at the present moment, I call to close this section of the meeting.
Is there a
So
motion
moved.
from the floor?
So
Oh, who was
moved,
that?
Tessa Hackett Vera, Nominations Committee, Community Board 9 member.
Okay, it's moved by Tessa Hackett Viera to close nominations. Is there a second?
Second, Linda
A
Watson.
second. Ms. Blackwell, second.
Okay, see a second by Augustine Blackwell. All right, all those members, are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All those members in favor of closing the nominations on said names, please say aye.
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 Are there any against? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, we would ask for the record to please show that the nominations were closed by unanimous consent of the board.
Thank you,
Those
everyone.
names,
Appreciate the
very much.
opportunity again.
if you could you just read the list of those, the nominations of the ballots, the current slate that you have?
You're muted, Primo.
Thank you for that. Okay, I'll read it out loud instead of showing it. So for chairperson, I have Fred Baptiste. For first vice chair, I have Warren Burke. For second vice chair, I have Francisca Leopold. For executive secretary, I have Alejandro Carballo. For treasurer, I have Dexter Roberts. For members at large, I have Nicholas Almanor, Amy Pinkerton, Melanie Lewis, Mary Rollerson Blackett, Linda Watson Lord, and Evelyn Williams.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, actually, I am seeing that our secretary is not online because she had a family emergency. Nolan, are you online?
I am here.
Would you be able to continue the minutes?
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll make sure we get the information with regards to the nominations, and if you could just take the rest of the minutes, you can. Okay, all right. We are now going to move on in the agenda to the treasurer's report. Debbie, are you still there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so just to piggyback on Dante's information, which I provided him the board office of the budget report for the for CB9. Everyone should have received a copy. If you did not receive it prior to today, I apologize, but you should have. I'm not sure what happened. However, the budget is pretty much what it is. It was modified, as you know, back in 2020. We took a small cut. So the modification dollar amount was $357,220. Out of that, we currently committed $239,643.33 with a remaining balance of $117,576.67. Out of that, there's an encumbered $20,000, $952.54, which means that that money is set aside for something that's, pending payment. May spending amount was $17,883.43, which would bring us down to $78,740.70 as a balance. That could fluctuate because, there may be something that's spending that hasn't been paid yet. So hopefully in June, we'll be able, as he said, to give you a more precise dollar amount. And that's it pretty much. Does anyone have any questions? I think the budget report is pretty much covered all over everything. I try to put everything in there. So hopefully no one has questions. If you read it.
Question.
Hold on a
Are
second.
you?
We'll take a list.
Yes.
I'm sorry, who's that? That was.
Hi.
Sorry. Hi, how you doing, Debbie?
Hi.
Are you gonna provide the report for those who didn't receive it?
You didn't receive it from the board office? I actually sent that report on last week.
Last week. Okay, I'll
I
check.
don't know what happened, but I guess maybe something was overlooked. But they had that the budget report last week.
Oh, no, that's why I asked, because you mentioned it. I'm assuming, people were not receiving it. So I was just asking, were you going to issue it again to those who haven't received?
Oh, Ms. Blackwell, you should check your email from about 4:30 p.m. today.
Oh, today? Okay.
Yes.
She said 2 weeks ago.
No, I said last week I submitted the budget report, but maybe something at the board office happened that you didn't receive it.
Okay, I got you.
So
thank you.
I apologize for that. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. Thanks.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we'll take one more question for the treasurer if there's any. Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much, Debbie, for your report. Okay, and we are now going to move into the chairperson's report. A lot of materials, a lot of items that we have going. Well, you know what? I think a lot of the stuff has already been covered by most of the committees. Bear with me 1 second while I just bring up my notes. So I think really in terms of, as we're nearing the end of the year, just really some of the big items that we want to make sure that we're looking at. So obviously we just completed our nominations. So our elections are scheduled to happen in June. So the nominations committee has already stated the intent to proceed with electronic, or the intent to utilize SurveyMonkey if we're going electronic. That question is going to be one of the things that we're actually considering this evening. Last month we had mentioned, and we also sent out the language with respect to a bylaws amendment that we're going to be considering this evening with regards to modifying the bylaws, a one-shot deal basically, similar to what we did last year, authorizing the board to have an electronic meeting in the month of June, and also to have electronic balloting in the month of June. This is necessary because of the way our bylaws are constructed. It calls for actual paper ballots which are signed for all the ballots that are cast by the board members. Every vote has to be attributable to a board member. Last year, we did something very similar where we utilized SurveyMonkey, and we were able to preserve the spirit of that, in which all the ballots that were cast were still attributed to all the board members. The process went very, very well last year, and it's something that we're probably going to be able to replicate this year. Again, pending the acceptance of the bylaws amendments. And I think the other factor we need to also consider is whether the governor rescinds his executive order, which allows for teleconferencing at this point. With everything going on in the state, things are moving very, very quickly. We see a lot of portions of New York City and the state itself actually reopening. So that is one of the things that we are waiting in terms of if there's any word with respect to the community boards and other functions as well, going back to in-person. So we're going to vote on that, and if something happens that nullifies that, then we will go back to an in-person meeting, or we'll have a conversation with respect to how we're going to handle that. But that's going to be one thing we're going to take care of this evening. Two, I just wanted to make a note with respect to the committees. I want to thank all the committees for all the hard work you've been doing for this past year. The committees really are the engine that drive this board. And I've just seen some phenomenal work. I want to extend my sincerest thanks to chairs, to all those committee members who've been showing up diligently for their assignments and participating and debating and planning, trying to do things to help this community move forward. I thank you for all of your hard work. And as we near the stretch, the one thing I do charge the committees, the chairs and the committees with, is in the June meetings to actually do a retrospective in terms of, I think you need to kind of understand and celebrate some of the successes you've had, especially in this challenging situation with the pandemic. The things that you have accomplished, the ideas you've generated, I think we need to document those. And you need to toot your own horn a little bit for that, respect to that as well. Also, I will want to make sure that we start developing institutional memory, where we also need to start preparing for the transition from this year to the next year, where projects just don't die because it's a new committee or committee leadership changes or committee members don't come back. We want to make sure that we're keeping momentum on some of the good work that we're doing. So that will be one of the agenda items that I would expect for all the committees to have, is that conversation in terms of the things we've done well, that we should keep doing, and the things that we have in flight. We didn't finish it yet, but this shouldn't die to this year because of the summer. So we want to make sure that happens. I think one last point that I would like to address very quickly because it's come out. And I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege with respect to the email that went out alleging a lot of things. And when I read it, I want to say that there's a poem that I thought of. If. And one of the stanzas in If is, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. I will leave it at that, but I will say this. I stand by every comment I have made before this board and before the public. And I leave it at that. Now, with respect to that, there is one item that we do need to consider. And because this is regarding litigation at this time, I will entertain a motion for CB9 to enter into executive session to discuss pending litigation with regards to the 960 Franklin Avenue application. Do I have
So
a motion?
moved.
I have it moved by Warren Burke.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Williams. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, the only thing I'll ask is for the concurrence of the board to have the CB9 staff in there as well with us. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the CB9 staff will be there with us as well. At this time, I'll take a motion. We'll take the call for the vote. All those in favor of entering executive session, please say aye.
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 All those opposed,
Aye.
please say
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. All those opposed, please say nay. Are there any abstentions? I call for a second time. Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, Nolan, please note for the record unanimous consent by the board to enter into executive session with the district office staff. Okay, I want to thank all those members of the public who waited for us while we entered into executive session. There was one action item voted on by the board during executive session. The motion was for CB9 to opt out of a hybrid hearing with an in-person component. The board in executive session voted on this. The final vote was 15 members in favor, 8 members opposed, with 3 members abstaining. So with that, the board will be communicating with Corporation Counsel, advising them of the board's position with respect to the hybrid hearing, and we will see where we proceed from that. The board membership votes will be made available after the minutes are published, and members of the committee will be able to inspect the votes at that time.
Excuse me, Fred, can you just repeat what was voted on in the vote?
Absolutely. The motion that was voted on was for CB9 to opt out of a hybrid hearing with an in-person component. That was the motion considered by the board. It was voted on, it was discussed, debated, voted on. The final vote was 15 in favor, 8 against, 3 abstentions. Okay, all right. We now have to move on to the agenda. We have a couple of items left for us to complete this evening. Now we are going to move on to the voting items. First voting item is with respect to the bylaws. All members of the community board should have been sent a copy of the bylaws, the proposed bylaw amendment. I'm just going to bring up the text and we'll read that. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, the amendment to be considered by the board is for an Article 12.2.1, which is new. And the bylaws, the amendment reads as such: in contemplation of the possibility that Community Board 9 will not be able to meet in person as a result of the continued state of emergency due to COVID-19, the CB bylaws are hereby amended to allow for a remote hearing of the full board in June 2021, pursuant to any requirements as set forth in the Governor's Executive Order 202. Additionally, electronic balloting will be authorized for the election of its officers in the June 2021 meeting. The individual votes of all board members will be recorded and maintained in the district office upon conclusion of the election. This amendment will be effective immediately upon adoption by the board. That is the amendment before the board. Are there any questions from board members?
So move. I move the question.
Okay. Moved by Nicholas Almore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nolan Levinson. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to call the question. Mia, if I ask, could you please call the roll? Or let me ask this: are there any objections? Is this common consent? Okay, we're moving for common consent.
Move for unanimous consent. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the bylaws that are adopted by unanimous consent. Mia, please record a vote in favor for all those board members present. Thank you very much, everyone. We have our two remaining items, the SLA applications. Item number one was, I'm sorry, bring up the applicant again. Yes, application number one was actually La Nueva Estrella del Castillo. We heard from the applicant this afternoon. The public safety chair advised that this application was approved by the committee. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a proposal to accept the recommendation of the committee and approve the application.
So made.
So moved by Warren Burke. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
I have a second by Linda Watson Lord. Are there any questions? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Are there any abstentions? Are there any abstentions? Noting no votes or abstentions, I'll direct Mia, could you please record a vote in favor for all board members present? Thank you very much. We're going to go to application B, Edie Joe's LLC, 630 Flatbush Avenue, for renewal of a liquor, wine, beer, and cider license. We spoke with the applicant earlier this evening. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the recommendation of the committee and approve the application.
So moved.
Moved by Nolan Levinson,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Williams. Okay. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I call all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those members who are opposed, please say nay. Call again. All those who are opposed, please say nay. All those who abstain, please indicate you abstain. Call for a second time. If you abstain, please note that you're abstaining. Seeing none, Mia, please note for all those members present, a vote in favor, unanimous consent. Okay. All right, we are up to item C. Is there any unfinished business to the board?
Business.
Fred, it's Amy.
Yes,
I
Amy.
think it was mentioned in a previous meeting about the, and somebody brought it up tonight about the chat feature in the Zoom meetings. It was previously discussed in a, I don't know, one of our board meetings. Are we going to vote on it, or is there a discussion around it?
We're still considering proposal with respect to that. So I know that's a conversation that I've had with the manager. There have definitely been pros and cons with respect to the chat being open. And especially, I mean, I think that we've been weighing options in terms of seeing how effectively we can operate without it. So I think a final determination will probably be made at some point soon. Okay, is there any other unfinished business? Seeing none. Okay, is there any new business with this board? I see no new business. Okay, so listen, I just want to thank the board.
Oh, very quickly, Chair, sorry to interrupt, but one of our SLA applicants has his hand up with a quick question.
Typically, we don't take from the public, and we'll entertain it this month. Go ahead.
Hey, sorry, I just was running around the restaurant. I didn't hear the vote on my thing.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
No problem. We'll give you the bad news later. No, you were approved. You were approved.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Have a
just
great
contact the
night.
district office and we'll process your application.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Okay. Yes, just very briefly, I know the hour is late. I want to thank all those board members who have stayed. Your dedication is truly admirable and appreciated. It's not always easy being on a board. It's not always easy being on CB9, but I thank you for your commitment and your dedication. We still have another month to go in terms of we're going to be continuing next month with our elections. We are going to elect the leadership that's going to carry this board forward. The committees still have the charge in terms of moving forward with respect to any projects you have, capturing those things that are good, and again, identifying those things that we need to make sure we keep momentum in the year coming for the next year. With that being said, I just want to thank everyone again. Everyone stay safe. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Ms. Williams.
Second by Yanela.
Seconded by Yanela Perry.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Aye.
Good
The ayes
night.
have it. We stand adjourned. Time is 10:42 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Have a good night, Mayor.
Good night.